first thing I want to talk about was the BBC's race propaganda. So, if anyone doesn't know, for some reason, in the UK, if you want to buy a TV and watch live TV, you have to buy a TV license. And the TV license allows you to see things, but of course, it also funds the BBC. It is the direct funding for them. So the first thing I want to show here was just a tweet from me, which I put out, in which I was scrolling through like the iPlayer. I just noticed the amount of shows the BBC has in which they're just like, is X racist? So the first one here, something we covered, is the church racist.
Probably.
Which is just some like documentary from Panorama. And then the next one, is uni racist?
Definitely.
Yeah. The next one, is Britain racist?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I guess sure. And then the next one, is football racist?
Absolutely.
And this is just because there's a limit on Twitter. You can only put 4 images, but there were loads of these. There was even there was a show called Free Speech Live, and it was like, is Britain racist as well? It was just like, for
sure,
God's
why
sakes.
not? Just the BBC's daily is X-racist.
Yeah, I mean,
piece of content.
Literally every day, that's what they do with the money they take from people by force, is tell them they're racist.
Thanks,
Wonderful.
BBC.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention, as I said, we covered the is the church racist segment before. I love that screenshot. Just the guy kneeling in your face.
Well, I am pretty unimpressed, to be honest.
It was really cringe. Go give that a watch because it's a great segment. The left are finding that they can't use the term babe anymore. Instead, wanted to use the more humanizing term of yukmagamers. But without further ado, I haven't watched the football one or the British one, but I did decide to watch the uni one yesterday, and my head hurt by the end of it. And so I've cut it up today, and we're just going to go through it today and take their reasonable concerns very seriously, because they're operating in very good faith that British universities are unbelievably racist. I just want to point out here with this first clip, which is just how much like production and over-editing goes into this. Like, this was like 37 minutes, something like that long of a documentary. And it just struck me as like how much effort and money was spent on this. So let's just play the first clip so you can get a sense of what I'm talking about.
I'm about to find out. So are you saying that universities are institutionally racist?
Yes.
You're saying that they're racist?
Yes.
Does he
Just like the over-dramatized music, like, is uni racist? Like, and it's constant throughout. I don't think I'll have much of a chance to show it, but there's loads of like weird transitions, and so over-edited it just comes off as strange.
But how racist can it really be if non-white people keep getting degrees? Like, if this just keeps happening, it's like, well, we're really racist. It's just somehow they keep slipping by us.
Well, it's also that people en masse keep coming to the UK for their degrees.
Well, I guess so, yeah.
Tell me why. So that chap there, in case you're wondering, he's some college guy.
Hang on. So are we suggesting this is actually some kind of 4D chess maneuver by the BBC to essentially tell foreigners, look, Britain is just racist. Every aspect of Britain is racist. Don't come. This is base Boris Johnson anti-immigration propaganda. Got it.
The new chairman of the BBC is a conservative, so I don't know, maybe this is 4D chess, but let's go through some of the arguments. So that chap there, in case you were wondering, was someone from universities who's done some reports and, of course, came to the conclusion that everything
racist universities let black people in. That's what racist universities do.
Yeah,
sorry.
So I didn't have much time for that. But anyway, let's go to the first. So there's a list of people they speak to, and they give their examples of why their experience at university was that the university was racist. And the first guy here is a guy who is suspected of being a drug dealer by campus security and believes he was treated unfairly. Let's play the first clip.
Zach has agreed to meet me in Manchester to talk to me about what happened.
There were 3 security guards and they approached me directly. Are you a student here? And I said, yes. Is there a problem? There's just been a lot of drug dealing going on campus at the moment. And I was just like whoa.
Tapped out, mate.
I just pulled out my ID and I showed the security guard that was talking to me. So I said, like, look, you can see my card very clearly here. That's me, that's my name. And then they said, no, like, give us your card, give us your card. They were like pin me up against the wall. They're like, give us your card over and over again.
Give us your card. I record this.
I'm recording it.
I'm a University of Manchester.
I'm recording it.
They're trying to snatch my card from me. I'm saying it's not his card. You see, I take this racial profiling. You man didn't go for him, you came for me, blood. You came for me. Take my card. Read what it says. Read what it says. Read what it says. What does it say? What does it say? What's my name? Read it out loud. Read it out loud. Is that me? This guy. Oh, man. Student. Oh, man. Oh, man.
I was just trying to get home. My door was literally 10 meters from where the incident happened.
Oh, my God.
And excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. You're not wearing. Excuse me, sir. You're not wearing a mask.
just shocked. I just couldn't believe it. I didn't know what to do.
There's your wallet. You gotta pin me up against the wall.
Anyway, so there's the accusation. He came to campus. The campus security are on the lookout for a drug dealer or drug dealers.
Yeah.
And they asked him for his university card. In case you don't know, at least when I was at uni, you are required to carry your card on you. De facto at my university, it was very lax, but de jure on the rules was you had to carry the card and you would have to show it to campus security when they asked for it because of exactly this kind of thing, if they want to deal with drug dealers or not. So what did the campus security do wrong?
Well, why was he dressed like a drug dealer for a start?
Well, that's his decision. But
Yeah, I'm sorry.
when he's mistaken for a drug dealer, yeah.
Well, wandering around at night with a hood up, why are you doing that?
I don't know. I mean, it might be raining or something. But
It wasn't.
Besides
You
the
could see
point, there was nothing wrong there. Like, the campus security acted as they are allowed to and supposed to, which is, can you give us your card? He's being a bit obstructive. Okay, we're going to take the card because we're allowed to do that. Take the card, look at it. Oh, it's him. Okay, give him
Then
back.
why were you fighting with them at
Yeah,
all?
you can sod off. So there's no racism there. Like, there's just nada. It's you...
I like the fact that he thinks that there's no like dodgy white students who are dressed like drug dealers wandering around skulking around at night, and they'd be like, "Oh no, he's white. Don't worry about it."
So that's the thing. If it's they just said there's the black guy, you might have an argument. But if they've been given a description of specific drug dealers or drug dealer, then there's the argument. So what happened with him? He contacted the university, and let's just play what they said.
On Saturday, Zach found the email address for the uni's head of diversity.
I had to go out onto the website whilst not having slept. It's still in a state of shock.
Yeah.
Emailed them about everything that had happened, attached all the videos. He actually called me straight away and said, like, look, this is really serious, and I'm going to do everything I can in my power to try and escalate this to the necessary people.
So the university student in question contacted the university. I think that was the head of diversity and inclusion, actually. You didn't get to see the clip because of the way it is. So, and he says he's going to deal with it. So what do you do in response? Well, he posted it on social media and then denied that he'd ever spoken to the university. I'm not joking. Let's play.
But by Sunday, Zach hadn't heard back from the university and decided to let his friends post the video on social media. The video went viral, and the university posted a tweet saying they had spoken to Zach and had launched a full investigation.
I hadn't even spoken to anyone. I'd just been informed that they were going to deal with the issue, and that's literally it.
So you didn't know much about this
Nothing.
investigation?
I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything.
So did you find out about it from Twitter?
Yeah.
From Twitter.
Liar. I mean, just liar. Like you contacted the university. You just said you called up the head of diversity and inclusion. They were in contact with you. He'd spoken to you, as the university said they'd spoken to you, and then they were taking it up. They were going to, as they say in their tweet, launch a full investigation. The diversity obviously say, I'm going to make sure this goes through. And then you're like, nah, they never spoke to me. I've never spoken to them. It's just like, right, okay. So I'm just not going to take your word for this. Like, you are not being serious. And the fact they left that in the edit, like that's their section. That's the first complaint. The campus think I'm a drug dealer. I spoke to them and then I didn't speak to them. I mean, it's just.
I just can't get over how much the host of this needs a My Fair Lady moment where I need to teach her to speak.
Yeah, apologies
Twitter.
for some of the accents. The BBC
God.
has laxed its
The
opinion.
London accent is spreading, is what is happening.
Yeah, so
British.
The original idea was to get more regional accents into BBC, which I agree with, but maybe not.
No, I don't agree with it. It's cringe.
I agree, but not the London one. That's for sure.
No,
Anyway.
no cringe regional accents.
No cringe, simple ass. Anyway, so then they say that we've got evidence that it definitely was racism because a security guard was asked about who he was stopping, and he said that he matched the description, and that's proof that it was definitely racist. Let's play.
2 days later, a student approached another security guard on campus with her phone camera turned on and talked about the incident.
I think that's really racist.
What, to say that he looks the same?
Yeah.
What, how's that racist? He looks similar.
Similar.
Yeah.
How
On what
so?
grounds?
As in, he matched the description.
Match the description.
Yes.
He was literally just standing outside his house.
He literally matched the description,
Were
bitch.
you like previously given the description?
Yeah.
There's been a description.
That's how descriptions work.
Drug dealers going on here. We have to.
You could have what if a white girl was a drug dealer?
What
Like
if?
you're not slamming white girls against the wall.
She wouldn't fit the description.
White female drug dealers.
When I saw that video, I wasn't surprised, and it kind of made sense as to why I was stopped, because it showed me that the security team had been given some sort of description to stop certain members of the university.
Can't stop laughing. You give a description, yeah, description. What, of a guy? Yeah, of a guy. He looked like that? Yeah, he looked like that. Well, he's been given a certain description and he's been told to stop people. Yeah, exactly. That guy who we think is drug dealing and you happen to fit the description.
I mean, it's so mind-numbingly stupid. Like, a child could figure this out.
It's trying to gin up some controversy about, well, he had a description about a specific person. That's racism.
Yeah. As if you think the
How could that
description
be
should be the Swedish approach, which is like, there's the suspect, he's a
human?
a person, and then nothing more. Like, no, they said there's a male, they presumably said the race of the individual, and then they're looking for that kind of guy. And he looks like the description.
Yeah, and presumably wearing like the hood. That's why I said,
mannerisms.
why he dressed like a drug dealer. And he's hunched over, his hood over, to hide his face, like a drug dealer.
But even then, not done anything wrong, in which case you just show the card and then it's over, blah, blah, blah. And
or you can make a big scene out of it and go viral on Twitter. Which one would you prefer?
And that's the one he went with. And it's just so obvious, like from the sequence of events that they show that this was a nothing burger, and yet they leave it in the edit. I mean, that's what I can't get over. All the examples here we're going to go through, most of them are stupid. The next one I actually have sympathy with, and because it is wrong.
But before we go on to that, I just want to make sure that you don't use American measurements in Britain.
What?
Nothing burgers.
Nothing burgers.
We measure things in feet and ounces, and no, stones and groats and things like this.
I'm a child of the internet. I've been affected with Yankee culture. Anyway, so the next one, the next one I do have sympathy for, and it is an example of racism. And you think this would be the kind of thing they'd show all the time. So let's play this one.
The year after I graduated, I was really shocked to see this horrible video of racism from here went viral on social media.
Oh, God.
This black woman in her halls, and in the corridor outside, there's people racially harassing her, shouting,
in my
"We
mind,
hate
it's
blacks,
not even black guys,
and white people are the best."
From the subcontinent.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty horrible. But as I say, the reason I'm laughing is, in my mind, it's just like the guys on the other side are all going to be black.
Well, who was doing it then?
They don't say. Which I just have no information.
I mean, I would have thought that the university, I mean, that, we hate black people. Okay, that seems like racism.
Yep.
Investigate and find out. And you would think those people would be expelled. This would be a national
media
scandal.
Well, they did. So they say that the...
We've got no proof that it's Josh.
So they say in here that this is evidence of racism, and therefore presumably the racist university in question, I don't know, gave them honorary doctorates for this or something. No, of course they didn't. They suspended the students as they should in this case because they're harassing this lady who lives in dorms. So let's play the next clip.
The university suspended the students following an investigation, and one student pled guilty to racially aggravated harassment and was fined in court.
Okay.
Like, if they're harassing them, therefore that's the process. In which case, what's the problem? Like
proof of racism.
They did thing wrong. They got punished for doing thing. What do you think should happen instead? Like they should be given honorary doctorates or something? I don't know what you mean. Like you're saying this proves that British universities are racist because they act against racial harassment.
Yeah, this is a common misunderstanding with progressives, isn't it? When someone is punished for doing the thing that you're upset about, that doesn't mean they're endorsing the thing you're upset about. Simple as that.
It's really weird. So then they interview a bunch of students, and there's like some vox pops of like their examples of racism.
Ooh.
I clipped the best one, so let's play the best one.
Being a person of color at my university kind of meant that I was the only one.
The boys who lived next door went to touch my hair.
First week, and a person said, "Hey, colored guy."
I bet they did.
Look at the doublethink though. As a person of color, I felt really harassed because someone said to me, "Hey, colored guy." Where is the brain? I mean, where is it?
I don't really believe that story.
I don't know if it's true or not.
Hey, coloured guy, who says that?
But even then, it's just the fact I'm a person of colour, but I don't like being called coloured guy.
Yes.
Well, you call yourself person of colour.
Yeah, so what do you expect them to call you?
Pathetic.
But even then, I don't think they did. And the hair touching thing, I don't believe it. Oh, can we touch it? Shut up.
No, I'm willing to accept their word on it because I have no other evidence for the contrary, so we'll just take their word on that. But it's a pathetic argument. And the next one is equally as silly. This is a lady who complained about seeing a play. I'm not joking.
Natasha is a medical student and complained about a play put on by students at Cardiff University.
So the students decided to put on a play, and she's like, that's the racism. So you must expect that this play is pretty spicy.
Yeah,
It is a little bit spicy. But as you'll see, the parts of it that are about race is that it's jokes about race, not jokes about, promoting racism. It's not some lecture of a play in which it's like, yes, the three skulls or whatever, the three dots or whatever. Like, it's not that. It's they're making fun of racist.
Right. It's not phrenology.
Opinions. Yeah. Right, okay. So let's play the spicy play.
The main characters are parodies of lecturers and include a black lecturer who's played by a white actor wearing blackface. And in a photo from the show has a large black dildo hanging out of his pants. He's also portrayed as gay. In the play, the lecturers are going on a lad's holiday to Magaluf. In this scene, they're on a flight to Mallorca. At the beginning of the scene, the black lecturer is described as
walking very gingerly, as if he was smuggling several bags of drugs and a butt plug.
This is it. I finally have a chance to make a move. This whole long-haul flight to talk to that dark chocolate slab over there.
It's almost like this weird, like, fetishy, sort of like, how many things can we put into this character to just rip him apart?
In the script, one character is described as
really racist.
And in one video shown purporting to be from the black lecturer's white adoptive parents, they say,
"We couldn't love him more if he was our genetic son. We just thank God every day that we managed to rescue him from the barbaric Hunger Games in South Africa."
But it's so obvious that the students here, it's not like they're clan members. They're making fun of racism.
I am surprised that they did that, though.
Yeah, it is pretty out there, but it's the thing of, like, you can see that they're making fun of the whole subject. It's not they're endorsing the fact that you should make fun of black people or blah, 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 blah. They're making jokes about race, not jokes that agree with racism.
Yeah, I mean, it must be because we deal with this stuff all day, every day, that I'm sat there thinking, well, this was a mistake. Like, I wouldn't have endorsed that at all just because you know what's going to happen.
You know it's a stupid play, but I mean, it's the thing of, like...
It's what students do, apparently.
Students are edgy boys who like to do edgy jokes, and that's it. It's edgy jokes. And again, in response to this, if you were wondering, the lady there who was offended by this play decided to write an email to the university, she says, and then the university, in response to this documentary, says they never received that email. So, okay. However, they did decide to force all of the people who partook in the play to publish apologies, and then suspended them.
Oh. Well, why did I bother apologising?
You tell me. But it's so obviously comical. Like, it is not sincere. It is not some sincere endorsement of, like you say, phonology or something like that. Yeah, of course. It's obviously comical. And then we'll get to the next link. So, okay, they've given you a bunch of random examples in which, like, this proves that British universities are racist. Now, let's go into the statistics. And the statistics will definitely prove that there is a widespread problem across all British universities that are just filled with complaints about racism. Let's play what the reality was.
There are around 2.5 million students in higher education in the UK. Just under 500,000 are students of colour. 93 out of 140 universities have come back to me and given me the numbers for the 5 years between 2015 and 2019. The highest number of reported cases against students and staff over the 5-year period were at Cardiff with 24, Nottingham Trent with 25, and Essex with 52. But 11 universities that replied to us said they had no complaints of racism against students and staff over the 5 years.
When you look at those numbers, it feels really low, like there isn't a problem at all. But when I've been speaking to students, it sounds like there's a much bigger issue. Could it be that students are experiencing it but not complaining about it? And if so, why?
That's amazing. Well, when I look at the data, it seems really low. But when I talk to these very online Twitter students, they seem to be saturated in racism, and I just can't understand what the problem is. Honestly, that is hilarious.
And again, this is why I can't get over how they leave this stuff in the final edit.
What a self-own.
Like, they leave it in. And so, I mean, just think of the numbers there. That's they got 500,000, as they would say, BAME students or brown-skinned students, right?
Was it
500,000?
Ukma
Gemers. There we go.
Gemers,
the new INGSOC.
Yeah, exactly. We've got to make sure we use that.
500,000 Ukma Gemers live in the UK as students, and over 5 years, they were able to get the number of cases of complaints, and it was in the tens. I mean, they're literally, like, 11 of them had 0 complaints. So that's 1 in 10 universities had 0 complaints over 5 years. I mean,
rough.
That's the data. It's rough for her. So she goes on to ask the European Human Rights Commission, and interviews them, and they say, "Oh no, we've done some surveys, and in the surveys, 25% of students who are yukmagamers had experienced racial harassment, which might be violence, racial slurs, or name calling." I was like, right, okay, so name calling that isn't racial slurs. So how do you determine this? I don't know, but whatever. Prick. They also say that
wanker, like
of those 25%, of those
these aren't slurs. These aren't even very insulting to me.
Of those 25% who said they experienced this, 66% of them didn't complain. And then she's like, "Ha! Proof that they didn't want to complain about these issues." But again, go back to the things that we've heard so far. A guy alleging that he was searched for being a drug dealer, and this was in response to a description of people like him being a drug dealer. I mean, the suspect, presumably of the same race, male, so forth. And then we had the lady complaining about play. I mean, the only good one so far was the students who were shouting racist chants in the hallway. And then they got convicted. I mean, one of them got convicted in court. The rest of them got suspended. And then we're going to go on to the best one. The best example they give, which is song lyrics. A man said some song lyrics. So this comes from an Oxford University student who was talking to a woke man, and the woke man quoted the song lyrics. Let's play this.
Gracie is a first-year history student at Christ Church College.
Pay attention to the
She
accent.
knew the man involved in the incident before she started at Oxford.
I've just known him for a very long time. I used to host my friends on these Instagram lives, and the boy asked to be on this live. He was talking very positively about the Black Lives Matter movement, talking very progressively. And I knew at this time that he was also going to Christ Church, Oxford as well.
Gracie and the man were with friends outside the Oxford Union, listening to music.
He's standing on a table dancing, and he asked me to put on, I was on music because I have the best music taste, Hypnotised by Notorious B.I.G. And as soon as the N-word came up, I was standing in front of him, he looked me in the eye, and he said the word. Immediately I said, "Apologise." And he said, "No, what are you going to do? Put me on your Instagram story."
The man denies directing the word at Gracie.
After a while, it must have been half an hour or something, the boy came back to me and said, "I'm remorseful for what I said."
I'm remorseful. Seriously unfair.
Why couldn't she have narrated this documentary? Because it would have at least been tolerable to listen to then.
But it's the thing of like listening to someone with the poshest accent at the poshest university in British society. I mean, upper class. Yeah. Like really up there. And she's complaining because some woke man who loves BLM had quoted song lyrics of a song she had put on. I mean, it's, of all the issues in the world the BBC could be dealing with.
Well, it just reminds me of the digital blackface one. This is digital blackface. It's like, what? You're the poshest people in the world. Shut up.
I know, right? But it's
you're not being oppressed.
The BBC aren't looking after the most worst off in society or anything. No. They're usually going to the poshest place on the country. And she's like, yeah, well, my problem is seriously unfair. I had to listen to song lyrics that I'd put on, and this man had said it to me.
But she didn't drop her T's, so that's important.
God, yeah, but it's, I hate the accents tell you everything about where people are in British society. Yeah. And she's up there.
It's very useful, actually.
So one of the other things just to mention is that the woke man in this example, has now been put before a disciplinary board for quoting song lyrics. And there's a clip from her later on that I didn't have time to clip, in which she just says that she's very upset that he has the right of appeal against the disciplinary board if he thinks they get the wrong result. She's like, I don't have that right, but he has that right. And she's dressed like someone from the Hunger Games in this clip as well. It's ridiculous. So in case you're wondering about, come on, Callum, you're not being completely fair. There's got to be some, good stuff in here that's serious. And yeah, there was one, but let's go for the last one here of the very serious claims made by this documentary.
I've arranged to meet Melanie to find out what happened when she complained to Christ Church. A student made a joke about the death of George Floyd on a Zoom call about college rep roles.
I think the exact quote is, "in the curious incident of George Floyd's death," which I found offensive because it was, for me, a clear comparison between Curious George and George Floyd.
What?
What are you talking about? A man used the words "in the curious case of George Floyd's death," and you're like, that's a reference to Curious George. He's being a racist.
Curious George is a monkey, therefore you're calling George Floyd a monkey. That's amazing logic.
I love connection.
Just leaping and bounding forward.
This is taken seriously by the BBC crew here, who are just, oh, please tell us more. Please, this is awful. And again, she's at Oxford, you know, one of the most privileged places in society. And she's like, well, I heard someone describe the words curious in a sentence with George Floyd. So I think they're probably referencing Curious George. And it's just like, no. Not even going to waste my time with the rest of that documentary. And that's what BBC pushes out on a daily basis, as I showed you. I mean, there are 4 documentaries I just found just flicking through iPlayer about, you know, is X racist? And as we covered with the church one, is so full of obvious nonsense. I just can't go over how that's what they do. Stop following the BBC.
It's not even that's what they do. That's what I have to pay for.
Yeah.
I have to pay for this.
Stop it.
Or else I get in trouble for not having my license.
Defund the BBC. The Tories said they were going to decriminalise it. Get on with it. Because that's...
Yeah, let the BBC compete in the free market and let's see it go the way of the Oscars. Like, seriously. If you enjoyed this segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can watch the full broadcast live every weekday at 1 PM UK time on lotuseaters.com.